interviewing Simeon Watson on what makes a real man. Simeon, what do you think makes a real man?
I think a real man is someone who accepts responsibility and takes it on in the correct manner, or what he believes the correct manner. So he defends what he believes right, basically.
Okay, so what you're saying is there's a real man can only be classed as a real man if he has something to defend.
Well, yeah, like as a man, you should be, in my eyes, you should be the one that's basically the protector of whether it's a family or, a group or whatever. Like, that's the one, that's the real man will stand up to anything, basically. What he believes right, he will stand up to that and he will defend that to the very end, in my eyes.
Okay, and could I ask you why you think that is so?
Um, wow, it's probably a strong, like, effect to that is probably the media. Like with films, that's what I've seen. Like the man is basically the protector, the strong one, the one that stands forward, makes the difference, basically. So it probably is a lot of the media that's influenced me from younger, but that's basically how I see it. Yeah.
So I'm gonna take a guess here and say that you agree 100% on the way the media portrays men, or do you disagree with parts of it?
I don't agree 100% no, because obviously that's not all men. You can't like put all men in the same category because everyone's different in, how they do things. So you can't really say, yeah, all men are like that or should be like that, because everyone's got the right to be how they want, basically. But in my eyes, a real man is someone who does stand up for themselves and what they think's right. So yeah.
Okay. And moving on to the next question. Do you agree with the stereotypical man? Moving away from the media, what people tend to believe a man should behave like. So he should be mature, he should be brave, he should be strong, he should be successful. A real man is often represented as someone such as a manager or a sportsman, someone has a lot behind them.
Well, I don't think you can pin like a certain role, like as a job role, on a successful man or whatever. So no, I don't agree with that. I believe whatever they believe in and they believe will make them successful, if they stand up for that and they make things happen, they don't just sit around and wait. If they make them things happen, then that in my eyes makes them a real man. So all the stereotypes of him having certain roles, looking a certain way, doing certain things, I think that's wrong. Like, everyone's individual and they have their right to take their own path.
Okay, so what you're essentially saying there is it's not about what they do, it's how they do it, or the over. That's right?
Yeah,
It's
that's
about how they
right.
do it. So in that, going off more on that, if a man doesn't have anything to stand up for, if he doesn't have anything, he's just living his life. He doesn't really care about having a family, having a job. He's just, just going along. Is he classified as a real man? Should he be?
Well, it depends how he's approaching things, because if he's just sitting back, lazing around thinking, I don't care about the world, I don't think that makes you a real man at all, because it's like you haven't got a purpose. I'm not saying you ain't no one, but like your life isn't really serving a purpose if you're just lazing around and not making a difference or got something to stand up for or head for. Like, you're basically wasting time, really.
And moving on to the last question. Do you agree on the way media portray men? Now, there's two sections to this question. There's the way they positively portray them. For example, think of movies such as Transporter, Terminator, as you said before, the man that's always there, reliable. Sean, do you believe in those traits that they pin on men?
They, in a way, they do pin the right kind of traits on men, but it's over exaggerated, like, with the way they do it. So it's like I'm kind of 50-50, because they do have the traits that I believe a real man should have in a way, but the way it's over exaggerated, obviously that misleads like the population, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand. The second part is a lot of TV shows now, they will portray men to be stupid, to be sleazy, to be pervy, to only care about sex. Do you agree with this? Do you believe that men in reality only care about those things, or is it just how the media wants to portray them?
Again, that's just over exaggerated in my eyes. Obviously, there is obviously individuals that move like that, and it's becoming a wide population, but I think that's because they're being affected by the media itself anyway. So I think the media's, they're playing it smart, like, to manipulate the population.
Okay. All right. I'm going to add on a last question to that. Obviously, the media has affected a lot how, obviously, young boys turn out to be men. Do you think that the men that are portrayed in the movies, do you think that maybe they're portrayed in movies to sort of make it seem unrealistic and to make men feel that they can never be reliable? Or do you think they're actually trying to motivate people to become like them?
That's a tricky question. In my eyes, as a young person, you should already have like a role model, whether it is on TV or someone you personally know or see. So like, I don't really think young people should be looking up to like actors, well, characters especially. You can look up to the actor themselves in the path they've taken, but looking up to someone acting in a film like The Terminator, say, like, I don't think you should really be looking up to them, because that is like a character. That's not an actual person or how they actually move. They may portray some traits, but it just depends on the young person, how the young person is seeing it. So the media is kind of like, they're playing a tricky game in my eyes.
Okay. Touching on another questions that I asked to someone else, they said that the occupation of a man doesn't determine whether he's a real man or not. So saying that a cleaner cannot be compared to a manager, because it's on not really what they're doing, it's because why they're doing it. That cleaner could be working to feed his family, but that manager could be working just to feed his drug habits.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, it doesn't really matter what occupation you've got. It shouldn't, like, a real man shouldn't be pinned to a specific job. Like, it's just how they're going about things. Like, if they've got to clean those streets or whatever, they've got to drive them buses, they're doing it for a reason. In my eyes, that will make you more of a man, because you've got more of a purpose and more of a goal, and you've got that hunger to like actually make something of yourself, or take it a step further to protect your family, or whatever you're protecting. Even if it's for your own pocket, you're still going out there. You're not just sitting around lazing about hoping something will come to you or feeling sorry for yourself. You're actually out there trying to make a difference and trying to better your life. So I think that makes more of a real man in my eyes.
Okay. Touching a bit on psychology, some people have said that being a real man should come naturally to every man. So the will to protect should come naturally. It's sort of like a survival instinct for men, just like it is for women to protect their child and to nurture their family. Do you agree that it's something that is natural? It's in our DNA or in our mentality? or do you think it's something that is more passed down through influence?
I think it's more of an influence thing. Like, as a boy, like, you probably, like, it's just depend how you're growing up. Like, if you're growing up around seeing those kind of male role models, you know, and that are actually being real men, if, as you say, like, protecting the family, seeing them basically putting in a shift, you know, to make a difference, then as a young person, you're gonna easily grow up towards that. But even if you don't have the actual live role model there, I think there's lots of different things that are actually kind of being fed to you, like whether it is through media, through school, like there's loads of things as growing up as a male that you kind of see, all right, this is what I should be doing, this is what's seen as right. So it's like it can work either way. It just depends on the actual individual. But in my eyes, it is like how you're growing up. I can't really say you're born with the traits of a real man. Like, it's something you have to expand on as you're growing up. Like, the more knowledge you get, the more, you know, experience and whatnot, you become, you know, easier to actually achieve the status of a real man, as you say.
So, going off that last question, a real man is someone that is wise, then, that has lived through life. So any young man could never be a real man because he hasn't been through the experiences, for example, that an older man would have.
Well, I don't think it's pinned on age either, but it's just those like certain goals that you're trying to achieve. Obviously, as a young age, you can like stride for something, but you haven't really lived life to say you're a real man yet, because there's a lot of things yet to come that you could actually crumble at and make you think, you know what, I can't do this, I'm just going to laze about and hope something happens for me. So I think you do have to live a certain amount of years before you can actually say you're a real man and be taken seriously as a real man.
Okay. This has been an interview with Simeon Watson on what makes a real man. Thank you.